As a Japanese living in Singapore, I've always been curious about local ramen shops. You know, those shops not owned by Japanese. They're usually much cheaper, sometimes only costing $6.90. But the question is, can they actually compare to authentic Japanese ramen? So today I'm visiting some of Singapore's local ramen spots and give my honest opinion as a Japanese. Cheers. Who actually used to work at a ramen shop in Japan. Yes, that's me bringing the ramen over to my customer. Why is my hair so long? Let's start the video. Alright, we have arrived to the first restaurant. It is Takagi. It's probably the most well-known, the cheapest ramen chains that started in Singapore. Because check it out, the cheapest costs only $7.90, which makes them one of the cheapest ramens in Singapore. Of course, I always knew about it, but it's too cheap. And I know as a jipulang that preparing a good bowl of ramen, it costs money, time, effort, and when it only costs $7.90, I know it's okay only without even trying. But I might change my mind after trying it for the first time because there must be a reason why locals support it so much. Okay, ordering is at a touch panel. The most standard one is $7.90, but not many ingredients. There's a soy sauce based one and even chili crab ramen. Interesting. You can add abalone, very local. The rest pretty standard. I think I'll just go for the most standard one. Okay, while waiting for the ramen, some backstory because the story is quite interesting. So the founders of Takagi Ramen used to own a media, a controversial one. It's called The Real Singapore, and according to Straits Times, they published articles that will divide certain social groups. So both founders, they're actually a couple, they were jailed. The wife 10 months, husband 8 months. They had to shut down the website and they pivoted into F&B, which is this. They opened in 2015 and it's quite successful because I see them almost everywhere nearby the MRT, even Heartlands. But again, $7.90, too cheap. But there must be a reason why Singaporeans love it. Alright, got my signature ramen. So a few observations. I love how they play old retro J-pop music, and I can see they're being smart. They have the self-order machines, so that way they don't have to hire too many staff. So maybe that's why they can offer their ramen cheap. But how's the quality? Let's start from the soup. Alright, here goes nothing. Cheers. Hold on, another sip. It's very creamy. It's how should I put it? なんか豚骨なのにパンチがない. It's more on the sweet side, but honestly it's better than I thought. But I wonder if they make their own soup because a lot of these cheap ramen stores, they'll use dried soup. You know, the powder, right? So let me just take a peek at the kitchen. Okay, I'm not sure. They do have a proper kitchen, but I couldn't find a humongous pot. Usually if they're making the soup in-house, they'll have a humongous pot. And that's where they, you know, crush the pork bone, make super tasty soup. But at the same time, maybe it's central kitchen, I'm not sure. My point is though, the soup is not bad for the price. And I love how it's all you can take spicy takana and ginger. And the portion, I would say it's pretty good. That's a lot of noodles. All right, cheers. Yeah, it's unfortunately overcooked. There's no springiness at all. The noodle also somehow tastes like somen, which is like the Japanese miswa made with rice. Yeah, the flour tastes not too strong. And a super authentic tonkotsu ramen, the flour, aroma, and flavor is very, very strong, prominent. Hold on, let me mix some of the spicy takana into the soup. Okay, let's try this. Well, that made it much better. The creaminess is complemented really well with the spiciness. Okay, let's try their chashu. They put 2. The flavor is nice, sweet, porky, but it's not the melt in your mouth type. And personally, it's fine for me. I think overall cannot compete with, you know, authentic real tonkotsu ramen like Ippudo, Ikosha, but of course that's because they only cost half the price. I think the quality overall is good for the price, $7.90. Or you can take takana. Nothing really stands out, but if I'm broke and if I crave ramen, why not? I would come. So everything is self-service. You must return your tray, and when your ramen is ready, they'll call from over there and you take it yourself. And personally, I totally don't mind because if you have a waiter bring it to you, that's additional 10% on your bill. overall, I will give it a 3 out of 5 because I'm considering the price, you know, again, $7.90. That makes it probably one of the cheapest ramen in Singapore. And for the price, I don't really have many complaints. I mean, maybe the toppings can be a bit more, but I love how the spicy takana is all you can take. And everything is quite solid, quite decent. Alright, you are still eating a lot and you don't want to miss a super popular halal ramen place and a unique duck ramen made by a Singaporean chef that is apparently Japan quality. And speaking of Japan, I know a lot of you are making trips to Japan. As a Japanese, I never knew Singaporeans love traveling to Japan so much. But here's something interesting. Did you know that you can actually buy flight tickets cheaper if you book from a different country? And you can do that by using Surfshark VPN. Surfshark lets you change your virtual location. So even though if you're browsing for flight tickets in Singapore at your home, you can connect to different servers by using Surfshark. And because a lot of airlines have different pricings depending on where the customer is, for example, maybe you can change your location to, I don't know, India, Indonesia, and that way you can possibly find cheaper tickets. And you know how Netflix and Hulu, they have different shows for different countries? So if you want to watch shows only available in United States, then you can change your virtual location to United States and watch shows not available in Singapore. And most importantly, Surfshark masks up your online activity and encrypt your data. So I always connect to it when I'm using public Wi-Fi at the cafe, airport, mall, because public Wi-Fi have weak security. So by using Surfshark, I can keep my important data like password, private information, encrypted and safe. Surfshark also provides 24/7 customer service and 30-day money-back guarantee, so there's no risk for you to try out. So if you are keen, use my link surfshark.com/ghib.ojisan to get 4 extra months of Surfshark. This is a great deal and I've been personally using Surfshark for over 3 years, so definitely check it out. Thank you Surfshark for sponsoring this segment. And off to the next location.
Station Town.
Alright, next we came to the west to try out a very interesting ramen. It is called Liu Lang Mian. This one is still relatively new and so many of my followers recommended it to me. And I actually have the owner with me. And do you think we can pretend like we just met? You know, I know it's kind of awkward, but we just met, huh?
Sure.
Nice to meet you, Hubert. Wow, thank you for having me. So Hubert, tell me about your restaurant.
It is a very small fusion ramen restaurant. Can seat up to maybe 25 people at a time. And it's a very small menu, just a simple ramen bar, but infused with kind of my influence of local flavors, just to make it a bit more unique in Singapore. And my highlight is duck ramen over here.
Can we check out how you prepare your duck ramen?
Yeah, sure.
I'm curious, like, why ramen though?
I personally love to eat ramen since I was young. I have this crazy love for ramen. I go to Japan only once, but I tried ramen almost every day when I was there.
But you only went once?
I only went once.
Why? Alright, entering the kitchen. How do you learn cooking ramen?
I learned from this Japanese ramen school called Yamato Noodle Making School.
In Japan?
No, in Singapore. It's a 1-week course.
1 week only?
Yeah, but it's very intense. This 1-week course cost me about $5,000. That was my passion and love for ramen. That's why I decided to, invest into this course.
What did you use to cook before this?
Mostly Latin Asian cuisine. It's like a casual dining restaurants that I've been in.
Okay. Alright, the noodles ready. Important question, where do you get your noodles from? You don't make it, right? It's too much work.
Yes, I used to make them when I was doing a home-based noodle kits during COVID period. This noodle supplier uses my recipe.
Ah, you tell him the recipe and they make it for you.
They make it for me. So this is the duck that I grew in-house. It's not processed duck, so it's fresh duck breast. I cure and then I grew it over the charcoal. Done.
Beautiful. Alright, here it is. Liu Lang Ramen. This is the grilled duck char siu, $14.50, and I love how there's no service fee and GST, so this is net price. So they say it's shoyu ramen, 8 hours duck python broth. So when I asked him how he learned ramen, he answered he learned in a week. And naturally, I'm a bit skeptical. だって日本だと何年も修行してようやく自分の店をオープンじゃないですか。But this guy, 1 week. But honestly, it looks very beautiful, very authentic. I will not be surprised if I see an exact same ramen in Japan. Okay, let's start out from the soup. Cheers. Ooh. Oh, this is interesting. It's shoyu forward. Shoyu is soy sauce. But then I taste the smokiness from the duck. It's interesting how the smokiness transfers to the soup. I taste the niboshi, which is a Japanese ikanbiri. なんだろう、美味しいんだけど、なんかいろんな味が混ざってる感じ。ちょっとぼやけてる印象ですね。Let's try the noodle. But the noodle is perfect. Very, very nice to slurp. It's al dente, it's chewy, it's firm. なんかすごいね、スモーキーなんですよね。なんかすごく地元民の、まあもちろん彼が地元民なんで、地元民の好きな味を熟知してるって感じですね。And it's the smokiness. Locals love it smoky. 次が一番お楽しみのアヒルです。Just look at how beautiful the duck meat is. I can tell he put a lot of care into not overcooking this. It's kind of pink. いただきます。That's so tender. It's smoky, tender, got a nice chew. So much flavor to it. And the more I bite, the more flavor, sweetness. Okay, the egg. Nice. Running in the inside. And finally, the bamboo shoot. The toppings are nice, but it's like quite standard except for the duck. The duck is phenomenal. I think that alone will bring up the rating of the topping much higher. しかし、スープがね、ちょっとまだ飲まないとね、わかんないですね。Because again, I feel like a lot of things going on. You taste the niboshi, the soy sauce, the paitan. 日本だと通常はどれかにフォーカスしますよね。でもここは全部なんですよ。It's delicious, but it's just something I'm not used to tasting in a Japanese ramen. And it's interesting how they have kelp vinegar inside. Let's check it out. Yeah, that's good. It makes it much more refreshing, easy to finish. The soup, I think I will rate it 4. Don't get me wrong, it's delicious, but again, for me, it feels like a lot of things happening too much. Okay, Hubert wants me to try his dry version, huh?
Yes.
This one also popular.
This one's also popular.
Can you do the flying, like you fly the ramen?
I
Or you
can't
can,
fly, yeah.
I thought you learned that at the
No,
school?
I don't learn how to
You don't
fly
learn
ramen.
that? Okay, that's minus 2,000 points.
It's not like the authentic traditional maze soba. It's more of like local influence.
Fusion.
So you get pork lard, you get a braised pork belly, which is quite localized flavor.
Alright, next up the dry signature chili low bak ramen. これぞフュージョンって感じですよね。So many unconventional ramen toppings like the wonton skin, low bak, which is braised pork belly, and the chili also very non-Japanese. Let's give it a good mix, and don't forget to break the egg. Beautiful. これはね、うまいわ。ただもはやもうラーメンなのかはわからない。もうフュージョンすぎて。The noodles are extra firm. He intentionally does it. The flavor is, I think it's soy sauce based with, you know, the Singaporean chili. Yeah, this is a beautiful fusion. Okay, I'm excited about the low bak. Melts in my mouth. Overall, I will give Liu Lang Mian a solid 4 out of 5. It's just simply delicious, and I love how he's doing something different. And the duck, man, that was so magical. And for me, what's more interesting is the story. The fact that he only trained for a week, and looking at the success of his restaurant, it's a lesson that you don't need to sacrifice years to train at a ramen shop before opening your own. So I really respect his courage and creativity. All right, off to the next restaurant. Oh, where the heck am I going? The next one will be interesting because we are trying an extremely popular halal ramen place. It is called the Ramen Stall. But halal means no pork, no lard. And I know Singaporeans love deep, rich flavor, but as a Jipunlang, I wonder, how do you get a lemak broth without using pork? Let's find out. Okay, we are here. This is a sister brand of the ramen house. You might recognize the cute ninja characters. And this place has over 8,000 reviews. Is it real? It's just so popular. All right, let's check out the menu. Volcano ramen, interesting, $13.90. Mushroom ramen looks more like a udon. Mala ramen. Oh, even got sushi. Hey, even soba. Okay, I don't want to judge them before even trying the food, but 日本人的にはなんかやっぱラーメンだけ売ってほしいですよね。It's like going going to a char kway teow stall that also sells bak chor mee, chicken rice, and bakute. But again, this place is extremely popular, especially among the halal community. So I have high hopes. Alright, so I got the signature volcano ramen, medium spicy. So the price is close to $17, including GST and service fee, so it's not really cheap. Okay, let's examine the ramen. First of all, the broth, I'm not sure it's, yeah, it cannot be tonkotsu because you cannot use pork. So I think it's chicken based. It doesn't really look that thick. And what makes this ramen interesting is that they use a lot of unconventional toppings. For example, mushrooms, they also use seaweed. And what struck me, what I never saw before, is this. It's bamboo shoots, but it looks like it's not marinated. You see it's kind of clear. All right, let's start out from the soup. Cheers. I wouldn't recommend this to my Japanese friends because it's gonna murder them. Wow, the medium spice is already very spicy. The soup is interesting, you know, it's not diluted at all. It got a punch, it's garlicky. I think it's chicken. It tastes quite complex. There's also vinegariness as well. Okay, let's try the noodles. Cheers. I've never had ramen noodle like this. It's fundamentally different. The texture is very smooth, whereas the traditional Japanese ramen noodles, it got a texture. You can tell they use like flour. But this one, it's almost like spaghetti. It's very smooth. They cooked it well, it's al dente, but maybe it's due to the texture. It doesn't really pick up the soup that well. Okay, next I want to try some of the toppings, starting out from the bamboo shoot. It's actually not bad, but I kind of knew it from the color. The flavor is not too strong, but the texture is crispy and nice. 卵も火の入りが均等じゃないのはわかりますね。Cheers. That's good. Well marinated. Okay, my favorite topping in a ramen is, of course, char siu as a meat guy. And this is chicken char siu. It's pretty nice. 豚肉じゃないので口の中でとろけるという食感はないんですが It's plump, it's flavorful, it goes well with the ramen. I would say the portion is standard. The price is not expensive nor cheap, but I totally understand that it probably does take more effort and money to make it completely halal. Authenticity, I'm probably gonna have to rate it low just because it's, you know, not authentic at all. But it doesn't mean it's bad, you know. It's actually quite good. And I appreciate the restaurant for offering ramen to the Muslim community. Overall, I thought it was a decent bowl of ramen and I would not mind taking my Muslim friends over there. So which one was my favorite? First, I tried the famous Takagi Ramen for the first time and it really wasn't bad for the price. Then I tried Liu Lang Mian, super interesting duck ramen. And finally, a halal volcano ramen. And my favorite has to be Liu Lang Mian. Personally, I feel like the soup can be a bit more refined, but the duck was really beautiful and I appreciate the fusion element. If you enjoyed this video, you might enjoy a separate video I did where I went to all the famous Japanese-owned ramen shops in Singapore. So you can tap here to watch it next. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Surfshark. 10分ランザウリア。Goodbye.